letting you know. And we're live. Welcome to the Gordox Pub. We're not old, we're vintage.
Classic, some would say.
Yeah, there you go.
Or if you wanted to combine them, we're classic.
Yeah.
Now we're in pickle.
Oh, God, now we're in a pickle. Thanks. That was...
So Joe might be hanging out for a little while tonight.
Okay.
I seen Mike. I gave him the link. He, I guess, is on his way home. So he said something about being home at 9.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Can't type tonight. My fingers are getting in the way.
So, did you see that thing I put on Facebook about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No.
This is really bothering me. Why do they wear masks?
Hold on a second. Hold on. Eli, you're going to come to that? So I'm going to switch cameras for a minute because I'm going to show you something with Eli.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to show you. Give me a second so I can switch over cameras. And here we go.
看看我闪烁，
Show. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
哎呀，
He wrecked his bike.
我不了，我把我去把
Tire blew.
去把来
You were too fast.
也
And tire blew.
我去后尾上，我去后尾上在
Oh, he went to camp to Howie and Sean's camp today.
他刚
And he had some hot dogs on the grill.
那是爸带爸
You want to say hi?
爸
You want me to let you know you showed up?
呀，可以的，这什么？
Alright, well, you need to pay attention because I'm not going to try to beat you on the head from here.
哎呀，
Yeah.
I think it's very appropriate that he is wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt. As I asked my question about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because
Okay, what about him?
why in the world
Hey, Adam.
why in the world do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wear masks?
So they won't be confused for other turtles.
I'm pretty certain them walking around and doing martial arts and talking.
No, there are other mutant turtles in the sewers.
Okay. And so okay.
Now you say, Adam says, so you know who they are, but the original turtles all had red masks.
So there.
All four of them had the same color masks.
It's
And the Foot Clan weren't robots, so like when they were beating them up, that change didn't occur until Archie purchased the rights.
well, yeah. If
I'm
they're
just saying.
human, they're getting hurt. If they're robots, you can. I'm just saying it can be visually appealing, but story-wise, it's dumb.
It's the ninja thing, so it's dumb, but so is every aspect of them. They are ninja turtles who learn from a rat. So, whatever. Every aspect of them's complete bullshit anyway. So,
Yeah, it's just,
you can't let the mask stop you after all the other bullshit.
I can because it's different. Like,
Okay.
okay,
It's different. Turtle, like, imagine a turtle in a ninja fight. You have to put it on fast motion to not be bored. How could you not block a punch from a turtle?
and all valid concerns, but if we're going to accept an anthropomorphic turtle, which is fine, when the point of a mask is to hide your identity, and when there are basically only four of you, I don't think that's really useful.
Well, so here's my issue. When you talk about masks, a mask that goes across your eyes like a raccoon's mask doesn't disguise you. It disguises your eyes. Does you still know what color eyes it is?
Yeah, I don't know. I just yeah. There's a lot of those masks that just don't quite make sense.
Tai Chi is Kung Fu. It's one third of Kung Fu, right?
I guess.
Tai Chi Chuan. Oh yeah, like if you look at the practitioners, another third of it's so now having a hard time remember. I want to say Kung Ji. Tai Chi is exercises and fluid motion and all that. And then you've got Wing Chun, which Wing Chun is the martial arts derived from Kung Fu too. So that's like 2/3 of it.
I just know that every time we try, like, and I understand the theory, but I don't know if I agree with it. But I wasn't the one in charge, so it doesn't really matter. But man, when we are learning a form or something, and you're going slow, we would Master Howard would be this isn't Tai Chi.
Well, yeah, but Tai Chi's not for actual. It's not really for combat. It's for self-healing and stretching and.
Right, but it looks slower
and balance. Well, it is slower, but it's slower for purpose.
Right.
It's not really for fighting so much. I mean, yes, you can use it for fighting, but
I'm just saying every time we got because you slow down when you don't know what you're doing, which is kind of obvious, and then so especially when you're learning, and it's like no, go faster, like it's not Tai Chi, go faster. Just one of those things you like to say.
I think they've all got their aspects.
Yeah.
I got to hear about Wing Chun not being much and all this other stuff because the way they train and they fight in sixths. So like if you look at an opponent and you divide them into thirds, and then those thirds, well, if you divide them into thirds this way, 1, 2, 3, and then divide them into half like this, each one of those squares is an attack or defense position, and that's the way they look at it. That's why they stand to the side too, so that there's less to hit and more to hit with and block with. Yeah, jack of all, master of none type of thing, but I appreciate them all. I think they all have valid reasons and valid purposes. I've seen a lot of pointing out what the weaknesses of Taekwondo are as well. And I started learning Taekwondo way back. It didn't give me what I was looking for. So it does give some people what they're looking for. And I've seen people in all different types of martial arts excel to incredible feats.
Yeah.
No matter what the martial art is, I believe it's much like a weapon, or much like an artistic tool. You adapt yourself to it, and the one that is most easily adapted to you, that's what you're going to do best. So I've heard argument about, oh, jiu-jitsu is the best in the world and all that, and there are flaws to jiu-jitsu too. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're into it for. In Tai Chi, I don't think anybody's into Tai Chi to be like a Bruce Lee type of fighter or whatever. Most people I know that are into Tai Chi are into Tai Chi for the self-healing aspect and meditation, and it's quite a bit like yoga as far as when you're moving slow, it's you use your muscles in such a way. Yeah, the defense areas that you're dividing up, not your actual opponent. And yeah, that pretty much.
Although that is effective.
If you can split them in half down the middle, you don't have to worry about the third.
That's true. I'm pretty certain if you just can separate, a large enough chunk.
If you cut them into 6 parts, you're done. What you need to do is call 811, so you know where to bury the body.
Oh.
Do you know about 811?
For your landlines and whatnot.
Huh?
Isn't that the number you call if you're going to dig something up so you don't get electrocuted?
Is that it? Because the way I understand it, in certain states, if you kill an intruder, you don't have to report it. You just have to make sure you bury them in the right place.
Really? That seems amazingly.
Yep, 811.
Okay. Maybe
I have
I'll
to
look
look it up. I have to look it up because it may not be everyone, but I know it's in North Carolina. It's 811. 811 is a national call before you dig number. That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's just saying when you dig the grave, you can make sure you're digging in a safe place.
Oh.
You don't want to electrocute yourself when you bury the body.
I thought I was going to look stupid, and I didn't.
No, I only knew about the one part of it, so like it makes sense. That's why. It makes total sense. That's why you call 811 is to make sure you're not, shoving your shovel into underground electric lines or under pipe lines or sewer lines or
Gas lines.
Yeah. You're still putting that in the script.
Okay.
Right? It's not unusual. I bet you if you look it up, like
It's not unusual.
if you look up 811 where to bury the body, you're going to find a whole bunch of videos that come up. I just found it interesting. So you see that boxing thing where that male boxer knocked out the girl.
Did he knock her out, or did she just give up?
I read that she just gave up, but Amanda said something about he knocked her out. So he might have just knocked her down, but I do know that Mike Tyson said that he wants to challenge that guy to a fight and give the money to battered women cause.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just makes me like Mike Tyson that much more.
That is one of I look at that And how do you justify that? I'm sorry, you just.
All right, so we'll go back to
Although-
the openings. We'll go back to the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Yeah, but those aren't real men.
No, but the whole point of the opening ceremony was we're gonna wither this shit with transvestites.
Well, I don't know, whatever, but
Transsexual, whatever the hell you want to call them. Back in the day when it wasn't politically incorrect, we called them transformers because you reach up under their dress and there's more than meets the eye.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like whenever time I saw, because people would put little icons on their cars, and I thought,
Yeah, right. The Decepticons.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's a fucking Decepticon right there. So, I know that both StreamYard and Twitch have updated their terms of service.
Okay.
I didn't bother reading them, but I'm assuming that they're gonna tell us that they can kick us off for any reason they want to. But we already had that assumption, right?
Yep.
At least I've been working under the assumption that we're only here till they kick us off. So. I'm not.
I think
looking
so.
to get kicked off, but on the other hand, I'm not looking to change, what I feel or what I believe to match some corporate idea of what's right and wrong.
Don't worry about it.
I've always welcomed other people's points of view, whether or not I agree with them. So that's where I stand on the issue, right?
I suppose. I'm trying to understand Adam's comment. Are you talking about the Algerian boxer, whatever, the
Yes.
one where the other girl quit, and she is not a man? I mean, that's kind of what I.
Biologically. Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about the one that's hermaphrodite, right? Has aspects of both. It doesn't matter whether they have non-losses to women or not, really. That's irrelevant to the fact of whether or not they are a woman. Physically a woman, because a physical man is stronger than a physical woman in the same condition. Matter of fact, in almost all conditions, it's provable. There are some exceptions to the rule, but I'm not watching them, and I could care less about them. The only reason I mentioned it or brought it up at all is because you were talking about concerns about how the actual boxing is going to play out, right?
Yep. Because
I don't watch it because I've got no interest in the Olympics, and I haven't had in a long time. I appreciate the athletes, and I appreciate what it used to take for you to get to the Olympics, let alone win the Olympics. But those aren't really the sports that I'd be watching. Like if my kid was in the Olympics, yeah, I'd watch it. If a friend or a friend of the family or a friend of the family's kid was in the Olympics, yeah, I'd watch it. But for the most part, it's not my bag of tea anyway.
Perfetto. Così vai.
Her birth certificates. You have her birth certificate?
What's that they on?
Not that those couldn't be doctors ever. Anyway, I am going to drop this subject because it's not going to be well for me. And really, like I said, not a subject I care much about as far as the Olympics period. I have no investment in it either way. I just think it should be fair, that's all. I saw a friend of mine posted it, that person is a hermaphrodite. They have aspects of man and woman natural. And in that case, what do you do? Because there's not a category for that anyway. They have to make a decision. That is not something I drew in this. That's not something included in this world.
What?
Hermaphrodites,
Oh.
transsexuals. We've discussed it before, and I'm kind of hoping to keep as much sexuality out of this book as possible.
Now you tell me. Man, I gotta make changes.
Good thing I didn't look at that script yet, man.
I'm joking. I do that when I write a bunch of sex.
Right, we have discussed this before about that.
Well, I think we discussed how far.
What's that?
We discussed. Yeah, we discussed a little bit about this.
We didn't want to show any sex or sexual situation. And while I was drawing that opening scene that led up to this one, we were saying that was the extent of what we were going to do, right? We weren't showing, because Mastiff hasn't got a significant other.
Right. Well, there's a character later on.
Well, they can have a significant other. I don't care what their significant other is. However, I'm not going to draw any sexual relations between anybody because that's not what I want to do. I'll do a...
Dude, I was just joking.
I'll do a digitized scene. Like, it's all pixeled out. Like, you can see the top part of them and the bottom part of them or whatever. And then any place that they touch, you pixeled out.
How about we say that they're having a long conversation about the Counterparts album from Rush, and then we can show a picture of the cover, which has a bolt going into a nut.
No, that just doesn't sound like it's fun. Sounds like a bad Henny Youngman joke.
Oh.
Bolt my nuts, please. Let's see if I can do this better today than I could when I was trying last time. I'm not promising.
What were you trying last time that you couldn't do? Why not?
Making vertical lines.
No.
Based on my horizontal line. Because, you know, the horizontal line should be probably as close as you're going to get to straight for that particular scene anyway, right?
Adam said we can cut to a National Geographic TV program on the mating rituals of canines.
So we could show two dogs fucking?
I'd rather not. And Rich is tired of drawing that.
I realize you crack you up, but I don't know what the fuck you just said.
I said you're tired of drawing two dogs fucking. You've had enough. Yes, I abuse myself because somebody has to.
You abuse yourself?
That too.
You know what the Playboy Dictionary defines that as?
No, I don't.
Pound of flesh.
Oh.
The Playboy Dictionary defines a pound of flesh as self-abuse. Back when Playboy was pretty much just a one-way highway. Now I don't know what the fuck they are. Can you imagine Playboy with no nudity? What the fuck is he used to buying it? The jokes aren't that good.
Well, that's what I wonder if it's even. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
Adam said our wives and kids don't think we're funny anymore, so we are our favorite audience.
Well,
Ouch.
Wes covered that subject. He had a great little video he sent me on that subject.
I did?
Yeah. The Father's Day thing.
Oh, yeah.
We used to be funny.
Yeah. That's all that's left.
Right. This is all we got left. Dad jokes.
Yeah. Our souls have been sucked so hard. You've been beat
Hey, wait a
down.
minute. My soul hasn't been sucked out. My soul is missing out.
That's the rumor, Adam. Adam said he didn't realize there was nudity in Playboy. He's only reading the articles.
How do you say I'm a fucking liar without saying I'm a fucking liar?
Yeah. You can't read.
Yeah, because the cover doesn't have any nudity on it. Hell, it used to be even the advertisements had nudity in them.
Oh God, that's so
I
bad.
can say though that I did enjoy quite a few of the jokes.
I'll
You know,
read this
Stephen
as you're
King
working.
published stories in Playboy at one time.
Adam said, I know Peter Parker as a photographer by trade, but I bet secretly he is a web developer.
Dum-dum.
Yeah, that was.
But he's not the web spinner. Or whatever that gay disco Spider-Man was.
Who knows?
Reminds me of my kid telling me the Peter Parkour joke.
Oh God, I'm afraid. Oh well. What's the Peter parkour joke?
Well, that's the punchline, so it doesn't matter now.
Okay.
But if you think about Spider-Man and parkour,
Yeah.
did I give you the impression I paid overly much attention to my kids'
Oh,
jokes?
sorry. Sorry.
Damn it, man. That was a hero we created in Florida. Damn
Come
it.
on in, Adam. It's unlocked. Adam said knock knock, so you know.
You're not going to bike for him?
I did. I said he could come on in. So it's unlocked.
Who's there?
Who's
on.
there?
Give him. It reminds me of Labyrinth. She was all like, "Oh, stop it!" And they're like, "Oh, come on, please! It's been so long."
I'm not gonna say anything about that. All right, Adam. Knock knock. Who's there?
The faces that were trying to scare her off.
Yeah. I saw something about like some. I didn't watch it. I just saw the. To slash.
that's what I was saying. To backslash.
Anyway, I saw this thing on YouTube. It was just a thumbnail about why, like, they were questioning why any sane person would let children watch Labyrinth. Because apparently they thought it was. I mean, Jareth's codpiece is pretty amazing, but
Who's they? That's what we have to establish first before we go any further.
oh,
Because if they are the same people that are promoting that Last Supper representation, they have no room to talk.
Well, trust me, I didn't care one bit because I just was like, I didn't watch it. I just was like, showed my kids. So anyway, to who? Apparently, 2 was the thing. This is the best knock knock delivery joke ever. Okay, knock knock. Who's there? 2. To who? All right. If this isn't riveting comedy, I don't know what is. You know that thing about in comedy, it's about timing?
Yeah, it's hard to do comedy and timing when it's prose.
God, that's bad. What's really bad? What's really bad though is that I really want to discuss the grammar of that question.
Yeah, well, we haven't got the sound effects that we were supposed to have.
Oh, I just. Anyway, subjects and objects, kind of important. But anyway, Rich, were you trying to tell a dad joke? I mean, a knock knock joke.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead, try again. Oh God, you typed it even. That was not me typing. This is not my joke. Okay, so don't anyone. Who's there? Dwayne. Okay, knock knock. Who's there? Dwayne. Dwayne who?
That was a mistype.
I win 12 on Brownie. Oh god. Ah.
My cousin Darren used to have one that drove us batty because it didn't even have a bad punchline. It had a kind of non-punchline, and
Yeah.
you're left going, "Is there a joke there?" Like I don't understand how that's a joke. It's knock knock.
Oh, Rich gets really. Well, if it's worth it, it can take its time. Adam said that you get the messages twice as fast as I do.
Yeah, I saw that. He's telling you, my cousin Darren's joke was knock knock,
Yeah. Who's there?
orange.
Orange who?
Purple.
Thanks.
Now my mom had a dad joke that was knock knock,
Who's there?
banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock,
Who's there?
banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock,
Who's there?
orange.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
Ta-da! I didn't say they were good. I said they were dad jokes. Matter of fact, I told you the purple one was bad anyway because it didn't
Yeah.
make sense. Huh? That's why we called ourselves children of the corny jokes. You wonder why we go psycho. There couldn't be a possible reason. Now that I've taped this ruler down, I've got to slide it down. Well, maybe I could just hold it over. That's really my idea. Probably not. This tape hasn't been on there that long, and it's already way, way sticky. And it's artist tape, so it shouldn't be that sticky.
Oh god. God, that's bad. So bad. I'm not sure I'm getting paid enough for this. Did you see what he put? Tomorrow is International Hair Day. I'm dreading it.
Da-da-da. I actually looked up and I thought you wrote I'm dreading it.
No.
That would have been double entendre.
Although I do have a hair appointment on Saturday.
To trim your beard?
Yeah. This thing is a giant rat's nest beast. I'm changing schools, so I don't feel like this is the best first day look.
Hmm. Okay.
You ever heard the thing about how do you hide a elephant in a cherry tree?
Nope.
You paint its toenails red.
Huh. You know what that black stuff in between elephants' toes is?
Oh,
Slow-moving natives.
you ever see a elephant in a cherry tree?
Nope.
Told you it works.
Works.
Because they painted their toenails red. That's how. How come you never see elephants hiding in trees? They're too good at it. I know they got that red toenail. Bad jokes. Bad jokes, bad jokes. What you gonna do? Not laugh. That's probably grown.
When you come a paraplegic pool?
I guess.
No.
How do you know an elephant has been in your refrigerator? I don't know. How do you know? How do you know I have a refrigerator? And which refrigerator are we talking about? Footprints in the cheesecake. Got it. How do you get an elephant in your fridge? That was a real question. You open the door and you let them in. Duh. Anyone should know that. How do you get a giraffe in your refrigerator? Well, first you don't even answer. That's the same how. I feel cheap. Can't explain things. Yep. You gotta let the elephant out first. Then you can put the giraffe in. Did you hear about the guy who went to the emergency room after he swallowed 500 pennies? No. He was trying to make Lincoln Logs. That's a shitty joke. Just saying it.
How many cops does it take to change a light bulb?
0.
I don't know. They just keep beating the room because it's black.
Yeah. I saw that. That was a terrible joke.
Hey, we were talking about terrible jokes, right?
Yeah. Adam said, did you hear about the insect anatomy that went at auction for over $300,000? Seems like a lot, but it was the bee's knees.
Hey, there's a cereal that's named after the wife of a bee.
That's because they die after sex.
That's right.
Ah. We may end up being the
Only
first
male.
channel to be monetized just so we don't put anything back up on YouTube.
What?
I said we might be the first channel on YouTube who gets monetized to not post something.
Oh, they don't have the guts. You said you don't think you're going to recover from that one. What'd you do?
It was bad. These things, it's just, oof.
Can't tell any of the good jokes anymore. All the good jokes get us struck quicker than shit.
My last message. Sorry.
Auto mod. Oh yeah. That's because you posted it on
Twitch.
Posted on YouTube, and it should come through. There's a certain amount of words that automatically get flagged at YouTube as well, but not as many.
Did you hear about the baby seal that walked into the club?
Dun dun dun.
It was thumping.
I was actually rewriting a Who song.
Ugh.
The Who song with baby seals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Out here with the seals. I club for my meals. When I get to the fin, I've reached my limit.
Wow. I just got an email from Yahoo or from YouTube begging me to stop you from singing.
Is it what? I'm going to turn my thing in a different direction. Either rather, it suddenly got really hot in this area. We got some corrugated metal going on. Can you even see that? Probably not.
Well, let me double explain. We put my big screen. Big screen. Let me get the picture. What side are you saying is the corrugated? It's like right behind the tall, standing up guy. And
It's way up here, so
well, I can't see that at all.
it goes from here to here. There's 2 rows of it this way. One
It's
row
light.
that goes this way and some that go that way.
It's light. I mean, I can see something there.
It is light, but that's why I asked if you could see it, because the contours of it, I want to be brought out in the inks. This channel does on it. It does so. It's my channel. I can sing what I want.
Well, then why would you type that? That's so weird. Gosh.
Because obviously it didn't type it. Okay.
Let's see. My wife drew her eyebrows on too high the other day. When I told her, she looked surprised. Yeah.
Let's go.
I put something in the private chat, but I don't think that's
Yeah, I just
necessarily-
read it, but I just don't know really what to say about it.
I'm saying the first part just makes me laugh completely. Because I'm like, of course it started late. That's just what happens. Gotta get used to that. The second one, I don't know why I find that amusing, but I do. I was talking about that second one with a friend of mine just because I thought it was funny. And for Adam and anyone else who views this later, I will at least, for some reason, I saw this thing about Nancy Reagan is why I don't trust the government anymore. It had a little bit more to it, but and it.
Oh, you can say curse words. You just can't say ethnic words.
Well, let's just say she liked to vacuum chickens. That's kind of what it says, right? And anyway, I was talking with my friend of mine who teaches history, but he had never heard the rumors and the gossips about that, which I thought was kind of funny because, I have no idea. Nor do I care to learn if it's true or not. I mean, I really don't care. But I just thought it was funny that the history teacher had never heard of that. And I was like, well, yeah, that was kind of a thing. But, oh well.
I don't know if I've ever.
I swear. Real thing.
I don't know.
That was supposedly her reputation in California before they got married.
News to me. I guess I don't feel alone now.
Key the Tiffany song. Which is actually not Tiffany, it's the Zombies, isn't it?
Tommy James and the Shondells.
I think we're alone now?
Yep, Tommy James and the Shondells.
Okay.
I have some inside knowledge.
Oh,
I know one of the Shondells. Or knew one of the Shondells.
maybe I'm actually thinking of the Turtles, though. Why am I stuck on Turtles tonight?
I know, apparently he took some great offense.
Ah. Adam said that statistically 6 out of 7 dwarves are not happy.
This is true. I just marked that thing. So, in case you don't know, the safe area for weathering is inside of this box. This is a corner right here.
Yeah.
And the bleed area is right through here. So I drew over the bleed area a little bit on the top here and on the side. I will be erasing that, but right now I need them to mark stuff. I haven't decided if I want to do the conduits in the roof hard or soft. In other words, I don't know if I want to do loose cables where they're hanging down, or like in an earlier picture where they're framed up.
Which is easier to draw?
Both of them have their merits. I say the easiest one to draw would be the loose cable type things, because you know you can do them hanging down, but there's some merit to having some pipes fading off in the darkness. So that's what my thinking is. It's where I'm torn. And the first picture that I did was almost in this setting. This is supposed to be a reverse shot. A reverse shot of where they were.
Yeah.
Because he ran away.
Right.
Yeah.
Adam said that he finds it interesting that you laid out the perspective after you drew the subjects.
Well, actually, technically, I didn't. I adjusted it. And what I mean by that is I literally laid it out, but I drew him first because he was the center, and it didn't have to be this low of an angle, but I wanted it to be this low of an angle so that we could be looking up at him and see the muscle tone in his chest and all that. So everything else depended on that, and I was going to do an extreme angle so that you see the buildings going way up. And then I remembered after I laid out the extreme angle that it's an enclosed place and there's a ceiling that's in shadow. So I had to make an adjustment for that. Matter of fact, if you watch the first ones where I'm drawing these two, I actually this guy, I have lines going this way because the buildings were going to kind of go like this. And then I was like, yeah, we're not going to go that far up really because we're just carrying the shadow. Most of this stuff up above here is going to be black. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I guess I lowered it some. You couldn't see it. You can't see the whole thing. For some reason, I can't get the whole thing in the shot. Like I can mess with the camera and get the whole thing in the shot, but I have to literally put it on my face for a few minutes while I adjust the camera. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But yeah, I definitely should have laid the buildings out first. I actually, like I said, I was thinking that I was going to show an extreme angle, and it didn't turn out to be. Although I think it's for the better. I think this is a more believable angle for the shot. And since I started laying it out, I've been doing some research into camera angles. That's
By the way, not a sponsor, but it could be. I would actually be worried if Dr. Pepper wanted to sponsor us, because then we'd really have to worry about what we say.
No, because I wouldn't sign any sponsorships that made me have to worry too much about what I said.
Well, okay.
I suppose maybe like Daily Wire did that with what's his face, Louder with Crowder.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
But it was more like you can't get a strike or something like that.
Right.
In a certain amount of time, and yeah, I guess I could find subjects to avoid that if they were interested, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to get any of the Daily Wires guys to be all like, hey, I want to sponsor your program. It's a fairly certain thing.
Hi, Jay. Is Jay short for
Hey, Jay.
Joe?
Jay is Jay, I believe.
Okay. Well, you
Not,
said Joe was going to come around. I don't know what he's.
Joe is Joe or Schmoden,
Okay.
Schmodington, something like that. And I told you I invited him, but
I know.
I also told you that I wasn't making any promises.
No. I was just thinking we should have opened the show with Welcome to the Gordox Pub tonight on drawing the Max. We are.
Tonight I'm drawing the same picture, part 7.
Yeah.
I don't actually mind. It's a pretty big piece.
I just. The gentleman from last time who was saying that. He didn't say we were ripping anyone off. He just thought it looked very similar. And
Hey, he's got a right to his opinion.
exactly. and they're both muscly dudes, so yeah, it's similar. And again, I would say, cool. I hope you like. If you liked the Max, then maybe you should try this. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that if you like the masks, this would be a good fit.
Probably not.
I would say, I think if it's kind of like, I don't know. I think of it kind of like maybe Sin City meets Blade Runner. With like Marv, because Marv is pretty unorthodox about his investigation, but it's more that hard-boiled type thing. And it's definitely supposed to be more gritty than just. I don't know. Mad Max. The Max.
Yeah.
Was
I knew you were good.
so. Abstract. I guess the best word I've got for it. It was so abstract that it was kind of hard to read what was supposed to be going on in it, right?
Right.
Well, maybe you could read it better than I could. But like I read the comics and I watched the show and I still can't tell you what it was about.
No,
that might be just me, and I don't have any fucking comprehension on that level.
I was looking here. I just typed in the Max and saw that there was a TV series about it. I didn't.
Well, it was a cartoon. It was an animated
Yeah.
series on MTV.
Aired in '95.
Yep. That sounds about right.
So, just weird. Jay said the Max is friggin' strange, but hey, Sam Keith. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's bad. It's just abstract. To me, the Max is like looking at a piece of art that doesn't tell a story. It doesn't tell a solid story. It's almost like art for art's sake. And I know, like Sam Keith, Kelly Jones, and Mike Mignola were pretty much starting together. They had been in shows and stuff like that together. I talked to Kelly Jones about it one time.
Yeah.
And Kelly's a real good person. I haven't talked to Sam Keith. I haven't talked to Mike Mignola, but Kelly is very approachable. If you're talking about me not laying out a perspective grid,
When did we?
that's seldom done when I draw. Huh?
What did you say?
Oh, I was backing up because they were talking about not drawing the background in or setting all that up before I did the people. I was adding to that I don't draw perspective grids. I don't do a whole bunch of little lines going this way and a whole bunch of little lines going that way and a whole bunch of little lines going that way, because then that just leaves me a whole bunch of shit to erase. I'd much rather do it simpler with a game plan. I'm not outright copying anything, but I do have references for pretty much everything I'm doing. However, if somebody wants to come in here and draw all the backgrounds for me, I wouldn't kick them out.
Whew. Adam says no.
Oh, come on. I credit you. Background artist. No, James Gurney and Thomas Kincaid got their start as background artists.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What?
You didn't know that?
No.
You ever watched the movie Fire and Ice? Frank Frazetta's Fire and Ice?
Yeah.
They did all the backgrounds. Like everything that you're seeing going on in the background was either Thomas Kincaid or James Gurney.
Adam said he could do it if everything is in a thick white fog.
What's that?
Adam said that he could do it if everything is in a thick white fog.
Well, you know, even in a thick white fog, you see trees.
Yeah, you just smudge some stuff.
If you could make the ground that's nearby look like it's fading into the fog as it goes into the thick white fog, well, maybe. Because, you know, a heavy fog could be a setting. Matter of fact, was it you that were reading Brandon Sanderson? Like, yeah, Ashes.
I mean, I've read it.
No, I think Adam was reading. I think he was reading Mistborn not that long ago, and that whole setting is snowing ashes all the time until it's not. So yeah, I mean, that could be valid. I've been thinking a whole lot about doing a fantasy setting, medieval setting series of pages too, where I would be working more with cartoony shapes than stringent muscles and all that. I'm actually trying to work my way towards that a little bit, but I don't want to lose the roundness. It's really weird cartooning. One of the popular lines of style is to have one side of a leg or an arm be, you know, round and muscular, and then the other side be fairly flat.
Rich, if you haven't seen it, Adam said.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'm answering Joe.
Oh, okay.
He said he just clocked out, so.
Okay. But Adam said that I think you all have finally inspired me to take a whack at doing my own comic.
Oh, cool. That's the purpose of doing this. More than anything else. Well, that and we really wanted to do our own. Well, I wanted to do my own. I think I would have done it anyway, but it may not have ended up being what I'm doing now. No, it definitely wouldn't have been this because I wasn't thinking along the lines of Mastiff until I got talking to Brett. Not a sponsor. But it does a good job of quenching my thirst.
Okay.
You learn how to make a citrus candle out of navel orange.
No.
It's navel orange and olive oil. So what you do is you cut a navel orange in half, and then instead of peeling it like you normally would peel it, You dig the pieces out and leave that center stem. That normally, if you just peel it off, then you have to rip that center stem off of the slices. So you kind of dig the slices out around that center stem, and then you fill the the rind, whatever the hell it's called, the orange peel.
Yeah.
With olive oil up to a certain point, and then you light the stem. The stem is the natural center, but it takes a minute to light because it's wet. But then you peel the other half and cut a little hole in it, and when it burns the citrus, and it's a natural way that's non-toxic to keep bugs away. It burns for a while. I thought that was pretty cool. Are you an everything in its place type of person? Or just leave it around and I'll know where it is when I leave it there?
I'll know where it is normally.
I am an everything in its place guy.
Well, I like everything in its place, but
Yeah, I wasn't finished. I was going to say I'm an everything in its place guy when I actually put it in its place. Everything has a place. It just may not end up there, especially if I'm using it. So, I guess I'm kind of a bastardized version of both. Keep thinking like Tim the Tool Man Taylor, like with the garage with the tool shapes and stuff for when you take them off, you put them back.
yeah.
I don't know if that actually happened in the show or if it's one of those Mandela effect things.
Adam said that he's the ladder. That his wife is also the ladder, unless it's his stuff.
So it's messy?
Well, I'm assuming that means she's allowed to leave things around, but he's not.
Well, the former would have been everything in its place.
Right.
The latter would have been just know where it is. So like if we were talking about my comic books, for instance, I have a box for my comic books, right?
Yeah.
And if you take one out and I look at that box, I will know pretty much not only which comic you took out, but where it goes. I'm weird like that, but that's, you know.
Yeah, I would not bother with that.
You wouldn't bother with it?
No, that just sounds like way too much. Yeah.
It's not too much work because I know, like, I have actually culled my comic collection down quite a bit. so I know that what I've got is there's a limited amount of what I have in the comic collection. What's difficult with this for me, with a double page spread,
Yeah.
is that there's enough that's hanging off, just enough that's hanging off each side. For me to flip the edge up or turn the edge, curl the edge, bend the edge. It's that whole math thing, right?
Math is my favorite.
I was just reading something interesting about math. Now I can't remember to quote it, so that kind of sucks. But historically, math wasn't what we think of it as.
Okay.
With somebody's name, or a city's name, or a people name, something like that. It's really weird.
Sounds rather weird.
I'm gonna have to find it again. No, actually, I think it has something to do with Catholic Church. And no, that's not any kind of knocking on the Catholic Church.
Oh, Lord. This is a painful night.
What's that?
Some puns make me numb, but math puns make me number.
Ah,
And Jay likes geometry. And that's about it. I always thought geometry, like while I was doing it, I thought geometry was fine. Some of the proofs and stuff were just, I don't know. It felt, like when you have to argue the math, basically, I thought, that seemed like a legit skill.
come back here. Strengthen this dude's hair up. So I wanted to do that other guy with the longer hair at the end of this scene because I wanted to show he was following her around. Remember I was talking about that?
Okay.
It was he had like a bigger collar, like almost a pilgrim type collar.
Okay.
I didn't draw him because if he's following her, he wouldn't still be here. And if he saw what she did, maybe he'd been running. Now I'm thinking about it, and I don't know if you plan on reusing her, if she's a character that's going to make another appearance. We've discussed it, and we haven't come to any conclusions. But now what I've been thinking is that it would be interesting if he showed back up, but as like her backup. Like making sure that nobody else messing with her in the crowd during her mission.
Okay.
Because I know the arc with our bad guy.
Yeah.
In the opening sequence, that he doesn't have strictly henchmen or whatever, but he talked about him employing the excommunicated, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've clearly defined what the excommunicated are. I mean, just the simplest terms, not anything in depth. So I think it'd be interesting if he made an appearance. So what I guess I'm saying is, what would be interesting is if he shows up, but only it's an inside thing. Only the people that are listening right now will know that he's showing up to keep an eye on her. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, where he'll show up in the crowd. It's like a Where's Waldo type thing. So throughout the whole comic, he might show up. She may not be in the picture, but if he's in the picture, we know that she's somewhere around, or maybe the other person is somewhere around. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting little inside tidbit that only 3 people are ever going to know, and that's probably really 2, just disguised as 3. All right. Guess I go back to doing lines. I thought it was interesting. Maybe even worth exploring.
I just it's no, I mean it's just one of those things where I got to think about it. I mean, you know, if it's just in the background, I might not even have to think about that at all. To be honest,
Right, it's in the background, but there would be an availability to employ that character at some point if you need to, which would really blow people's minds if they don't expect it.
Huh.
Except for the people that are here that know what I'm talking about. Like maybe that guy is, even though he looks scrawny and thin and almost feminine or vampiric or whatever, he might be a very skilled assassin, you know. And or something like that, pickpocket, whatever. Someone who brings something to the table that you're not expecting because he's in the background all the time. I just think that's an interesting detail.
Did you see what Adam put?
No, I was answering somebody else who I had invited onto the stream.
He said, I'd like to formally apologize for subjecting you to these jokes this evening and hope it doesn't reflect on my permanent record. We'll be taking it
Running
under
along
review.
the bottom of the screen like a disclaimer.
Nice.
I'll leave that up for a minute. That's all right. We can handle bad jokes. I am not of the breed that is anti-joke. Even as we witnessed even last week. Remember, it was like early in the streaming process, somebody come on and told me I sucked.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. The guy that was all claiming to be David Finch. And
Okay.
it wasn't, it was somebody else that was trying to use that nick. Like, oh, yeah, yep, that's up. That's why I make my living doing this. At the time, I was doing painting. And at the time, I was making my living doing that painting. You could consider me making a living at all. Which is the subject of tonight's discussion. When it came to tattoos, I usually was always pretty defensive because not only do I know what I'm doing enough to be an almost 200-time award winner, and like when I say almost, within 5.
Adam said, what is that dude creating? Angst. Keeping your toxic comments to oneself is free and takes less energy.
Oh no, I don't care. I can take it. I can take a joke. You know, like it gets heavy after a while if it's my friends. You know, and they know that I'm what I'm trying to do. If they're working against me or they sound serious about it, then I get a little bit of an issue. But like I don't care. sticks and stones, right?
Yep.
If you feel the need to validate yourself, and that's all you can do to validate yourself. Have at it. I'm not a newbie where it's going to shake my confidence, but when I try to draw something and it doesn't look like what I try to draw, that's a whole different story. But usually that's because I recognize that it's not looking right. And we all have our off days where we just can't draw what we're trying to draw.
Saw
I leave
this.
those videos up there too because I want people to know that everybody has those days.
I saw a video where this woman, she's an artist. She took 2 glass panels out of frames, like small frames, like 5x7 or something like that, and then put a piece of black paper in between them, and then you used black electrical tape and sealed it. And she was using that. She would hold it above her eyes and look at the reflection of what she was working on, I guess.
She was drawing her own self?
No. But she was it's basically a way of making it look upside down, which I'm like, or just turn your paper. But
Well, I know people that they do draw upside down because it allows you to be distant from what you're drawing.
right, that's what she was using this tool for.
Yeah, and then there's another tool that uses mirrors that actually will reflect that image onto your paper so you can trace the image.
I think Teller from Penn and Teller did a documentary about that, actually.
So this lady that my wife worked part-time for
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, she sold the bed and breakfast that she was working, or that she was doing because her husband died recently.
Yeah.
Well, she paid Amanda and her cousin like $35 an hour to clean up and pack up and do all this stuff, and it's a pretty big place. But like at the end, she sent her home with a couple of boxes of books to get rid of. So I have some hardbacks. One of them is a Pulitzer Award winner, which I had never heard of before I started researching what books were what. I have an F. Scott Fitzgerald book.
Ooh.
That's on hardback. I thought you might be interested.
Well, yeah, because it's F. Scott Fitzgerald.
What's that?
That's cool. Because F. Scott Fitzgerald is cool. Well, actually, he wasn't, but he basically he acted like a kind of like a YouTube influencer long before YouTube existed. So him and his wife were both partially famous for their drunken arguments.
Who wrote As I Lay Dying?
What?
So who wrote As I Lay Dying? Name's not coming to my brain. It's not James Joyce, is it?
William Faulkner.
Faulkner. So yeah, I've got 3 hardbacks of Faulkner's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a hardback of the woman that wrote the Good Life. It was a Japanese movie that was really kind of like a Great Depression type movie set in Japan.
Okay.
Well, it's based on the novel, so but she had a whole bunch of Asian set stories.
Okay.
But she had one that I know of that was set in India, and that's the one that I have.
Oh.
And, you ever hear of the book So Big? It was a Pulitzer Prize winner.
No.
There's a movie as well.
By Edna Ferber.
Yep. I have a collection of 4 hardbacks of hers. And she had some of them made into movies. Some of them were made into a movie and then remade into a movie. One of them with Barbara Stanwyck. So I've got a collection of these kind of classic books. I've got a Reader's Club first edition of Part 2, The Shogun. Which is really weird because it is the first edition of the Shogun. They just broke it down into 2 books. And if it would have been the one book, it's like worth $2,000. Now, in the condition it's in, probably worth $50. There was a lot of books that she had, and like there's Joan of Arc books, the story of Joan of Arc, written in 1903, 1908, something like that, in French. We've got them. Their tones, they look like an old Orthodox Bible. That's how they look. But they're even then they're broken up. Like they definitely need some love and care. So I was gonna say there's a good chunk of them that if anybody wants to pay to ship them, that we just send out. There's a couple of them we're gonna put on eBay and see what we can get our money for. We've got a first edition hardcover of Clark's 3001, The Final Odyssey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there was a pretty cool science fiction anthology, and I read the opening of it, and the opening was saying that this is not a collection of the best sci-fi, because if it was, you probably would have already read all of them. It was interesting, or they're ever changing. So I've got a copy of T.H. White's The Once and Future King. Although I think I'm going to be reading that if I ever find the time. Well, you know, I'm reading 5 books right now. I did just finish the Star Wars storyboard book, though.
All right.
Yep, today. Earlier today. Well, that's perfect. The last line is right on the dotted line.
Earlier today, I saw a picture from. It was from a Thor comic, and it had, you know, that I think it's the whoever that big metal thing was at the end of the first Thor movie. That Loki sends down to kill Thor. I think it had him in it, or on the cover, and he was holding Captain America by Captain America's uniform. Like grabbed his chest. It was like the shirt was like dragging him around. And the spikes on the metal thing, which I think is like the Destroyer or something generic like that, did not read well. It looked more like spikes coming out of Captain America than it did like spikes from this guy's armor. It's kind of weird. It's like, this should have been shaded differently or something to help break the two images apart. But I suppose everybody's a critic. It just distracted me with how easy it was to confuse the image.
Well, there again, also, right now, your brain is working in what's readable and what's not.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it every other day, pretty much. So, there is that. It's like writing. When you start writing, you learn how to discern good, clean prose from really hard, ragged prose, right?
Yeah.
When you first start reading, you don't think about that. You're just thinking about story, and you're not thinking about how smooth or how rough it is to read. It's just stories, right?
Right.
It's the same thing. Like once you're, have you ever read Save the Cat?
Yeah.
Did it destroy movies for you for a few months? Because it did for me.
No, because
you could look at the recipe that they lay out. Oh, it's going to be a memory sequence here. It's going to be, like they did that with 4 or 5 movies through that book. Like one of them was gone in 60 seconds, and like now I can't watch those movies without seeing that information relayed in the way that they were talking about. It's pretty difficult.
I mean, part of it's just from taking like film literature in college, where you Save the Cat might have been out. I don't know when it was published, but I had not read it. But I just that's some of the stuff that we started to break down and started to notice. Plus, some of that stuff with like Clerks and I guess Clerks, but Reservoir Dogs. So like the Kevin Smith and the Tarantino thing was kind of was very in, and I don't know. A lot of the people I was hanging out with were talking about movies. We were breaking down movies. I mean, you're writing scripts and you're doing all that. So part of that kind of it's already happened. I mean, I guess. Plus, when you start looking at like the hero's journey and stuff like that, once you realize that a lot of these things kind of have a pattern to them, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like...
Well, the hero's journey is a cheap excuse for fitting everything into a box. Not everything in that box is congruent with what's supposed to be in that box. You could just change the name on that box so they work.
Well, I think of it more like pizza. There's pizza that it covers a lot of different things, right? I mean, there's your cheese pizza, your margarita pizza, your all kinds of different types of pizza. But we all pretty much know what a pizza is. So at times I'm looking for something new. I want a different slice. So I try to find a slice I haven't had before. But I still want pizza, or sometimes I want my comfort ones, the ones I know, and that's okay. But it's still pizza. I mean, and to me, a lot of the stuff with the hero's journey, okay. I know what a pizza is. I know what this hero's journey is. How does this person, make this part interesting? I don't mind having I don't think it's a bad idea to recognize that this tends to work. And so
it's not a recipe. It's a breaking down after the fact and then shoving everything into a box. Yeah, it's going to work because they broke it down and made sure those boxes fit so that they work. But that's not the only kind of story to tell. And they make it out to sound like that's the only kind of story to tell. There's the cyclic story. Dave Farland went into it, that there are several different types of story to tell that doesn't have to be the hero's journey. And when you pound the hero's journey all the time, it doesn't sound like there is, and that's just inaccurate. That's all. That's what I don't like about it. Really, it's not that I don't like the fact that it has a solid foundation, right? Because it does, and you can work it as a recipe. Obviously, that's what Star Wars is. That's actually what he said it was. There's no. I'm not saying that you can't use it. What I'm saying is that, yeah, there's pizzas, but there's also burgers. There's also hot dogs. There's also different kinds of food that you can eat. Fried chicken, whatever.
Jay said, me and a buddy were talking about Fight Club I love Fight Club.
So, are you talking about the book or the movie?
The movie.
Well, I was talking about him. We discussed it before, and I think you told me you haven't read the book.
No, because every time I go to the I swear, I've looked in several libraries, and I suppose I could just buy it, and maybe that's what I should do.
Now, you don't like Audible, right? But
no, I don't.
How do you feel about Kindle?
Oh, that's fun. And let's be clear. I don't have anything against anyone who enjoys Audible. I have nothing against
No, that's not what I meant when I said that.
I'm just clarifying for other people.
Right, and I am also that when I asked Brett that if she doesn't like Audible, it wasn't Audible the company or the principle of hearing stories. It was you prefer to read stories than to listen to stories. Unless they're movies.
I don't. I
don't
me, like being read to.
See, for me, I like narrators that make it seem like a radio play. So it's just like listening to a movie for me. So there's no distinction for me. Storytelling is storytelling. It started off being verbal before it was written down. So I have no problem with it. But that's a sidetrack. Like I was asking because I might send you a copy on Kindle so that you have one. And you don't even have to have a Kindle to get Kindle. There's an app for your laptop and your phone, and they're all free. So,
no, I'm pretty certain I have it on my tablet's got it. But no, I mean I just
made it so far through the book because I read 5 books at once, and sometimes if it's really slow, I skip to something that's not. I do have it. I have started it, and it starts off actually like floating head syndrome. You're having a conversation. You're in the middle of a conversation with no description of either one that's in that conversation. You know why at the end, because obviously you've seen the movie, but
right. That's a hard sell.
And yeah, but he hasn't. That's not his first book, and
that's why he can do it.
That's right. Get away with stuff like that when you're already known to be a decent storyteller.
I don't think you're getting away with something like that. I think it's at least not in that case.
I think it is getting away with something like that because we couldn't get away with something like that until we were published. Before that, they would be calling it getting away with something like that. I'm not saying that it's any less effective or if they don't have a good reason for it or it's a valid tool, which I lost the word for it. What I mean.
Well, I'm just
saying. Not validating it. I'm just saying if they call it getting away because you or I couldn't do it.
If you think about, to some extent, your book, your hook, is a promise to your reader that you're supposed to deliver on. And the way I look at it is established writers have developed more trust that they will deliver on the promise. And
that is the way that they look at it.
Well, that's why I don't consider it necessarily getting away with it, as what they've earned the ability to, the trust.
So they've earned the getting away with it. It's just it's semantics. But I mean, yeah, like you or I couldn't do it. Most people that are writing a first book or even a second book probably couldn't sell it.
It probably depends on just how good their first book was received, and
you'd have to have a hell of a first book to be able to do some of this stuff.
I agree, and I understand feeling resentful for it, but at the same time, I kind of think,
I'm not resentful. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm saying
they can do things because they've established that they're storytellers. I mean,
right.
They've established that they not only can start something, that they can end it. But how many times have you been told not to write floating head syndrome? That's one of the big things that makes or drives readers away, right? I'm not saying that it's 100% of the time. I'm just saying that is writerly advice.
And it's good advice. Because you can turn off readers, and also it's been done so many times badly that the people, like editors and whatnot, see it as a red flag. And if they don't know you should not be presenting red flags. So I understand some of that. And when I say people get resentful, I'm not saying you per se. I'm simply saying that there are writers who, beginning writers who get kind of, they They just get upset that some other famous person gets to do it. And they, well, why can't I? I was like, well, you can't because they don't know you. You know, I can walk into my mom's house and like I've gotten to her house before and took stuff out of it. And is that technically theft? Yeah. But when I call her and say, hey, I had to stop by and I like this literally happened. One of my kids had thrown up all over my van and it smelled terribly. And I needed a place that and she was an hour away from my house, but that was still closer than where I was. So she was the nearest port in the storm and she wasn't home. Broke in, I stole some some tissue papers and paper towels and Febreze and, cleaned up everything. And I'm allowed to do this because she knows me. If you did it,
you're her son, so that's a little bit different.
I'm saying
that's more than just she knows you. That's her offspring. And generally, they're going to be more forgiving of their offspring.
Yeah, I'm saying once you've established a relationship, and established writers have established
I don't know. I think also what you don't take into account and what I didn't take into account when we were saying that is that you can absolutely do whatever the fuck you want to. You may not sell. It may be such a good story though that it may overcome those obstacles.
If they get
if you can hook an editor, if you can hook someone to read beyond that point, then it's pretty sure bet that you've done your job. You've done some good writing. If you can sell them past their precepts, their
preconceived notions,
yes,
biases,
yeah.
Hey, I just want to point out how wrong Adam is, because that's how you win friends and influence people. So Adam said, I'm just saying that if it doesn't have cheese and Italian sauces, it's not pizza, and I'll die on that hill. I will tell you, I have made several pizzas that do not use tomato sauce, and they are delightful.
Well, if it doesn't have sauce,
you said Italian sauces.
Yes, well, what are you thinking of for sauce that's not Italian?
Oh God, Pizza Hut used to have a chicken bacon club, and it used mayonnaise. And I'm telling you, it sounds gross.
Pizza?
Yeah, no tomato sauce.
I don't think it's a pizza.
It's a pizza.
I wouldn't call it a pizza. I would call it a meat pocket or whatever. It's a fucking.
It wasn't a pocket. It was a pizza.
It's an open face wrap sandwich or something.
No,
but
it was a pizza. It's good.
If you don't have any sauce and you don't have any meat and
that's
you cut it in half, that's a traditional calzone.
Okay, but
because the original calzones were really just cheese pockets. No, it's not the same argument. I was just kind of throwing that out there because when I read it, I'm like,
Adam, I challenge you. If there's a Domino's nearby, I don't care what kind of crust you want. Although I think that
I don't like it. It's an open face sandwich.
Anyway, I'm not a big fan of this on
say it's not good. It's just not pizza.
But hand toss the New York style, the thin crust. This works really well with it. And if you go on Domino's website, you can choose this. It's all there. You get ranch instead of pizza sauce on it, and chicken, bacon, and pineapple. It is a delight. You will thank me. It is so good. In fact, it's really good on a thin crust.
Well, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. We'll get struck.
Wouldn't that be a tostada?
That That depends. I'm just telling you, we can't talk about it because we'll get stuck.
When I was working at Pizza, you gotta understand there was a time period where I really got tired of pizza because I was working at Pizza Hut and you got a free small with every shift, and so I mean I had all the named ones that they have, and then you start getting into the crazy crap. But I mean the mayonnaise thing that was on the menu. It was chicken bacon club, and I thought it sounded disgusting until I was cutting it one night, and it smelled amazing. So I had to try it. Well, Adam, you're wrong. It is pizza, but it's good.
I think you're outvoted this time. Technically, the original pizza didn't have anything but 4 slices of mozzarella and tomato sauce.
Yeah.
It was made for the GIs in World War II. In appreciation for them saving them so that they could heat them up on a Jeep's engine. And it was brought back to the States from there, technically.
I mean, the first pizza was a lot older than that.
Huh?
The first pizza is older than World War II or one or whatever you said. I mean, beyond the really strange ones, because it really depends on how much you want to say that's a pizza. I think, yeah, normally, yeah, that's the one.
When you grow up in New Jersey,
And
you have
often
a
read the
completely
stories.
different view of what pizza is supposed to be also.
On June 11th, 1889, to honor the Queen Consort of Italy, Margherita of Savoy, the Neapolitan pizza maker Raffaele Esposito created the pizza margherita. And so that was 1889.
And that's a pizza margherita, not what we think of as pizza.
Well, it was
I didn't make this shit up. I fucking
tomato, mozzarella, and basil.
seen
I
it
mean, it's-
before, so
yeah. It's, 1830, I described the pizza with tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil. So that was, yeah.
key ingredients.
So, hold on.
Mozzarella,
I
tomato.
described the pizza with tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil.
Yeah.
Napoleon,
Tomatoes and mozzarella are the staple.
You just said that margarita wasn't one of them. That's what it was.
What?
It was the pizza margarita was tomato, mozzarella, and basil.
Yeah, I heard you.
But you
I
said that wasn't a
the
pizza.
staple. No, I said the staple for pizza is cheese and mozzarella. I didn't say that wasn't that.
No.
I'm just saying that is the staple of pizza is generally cheese and mozzarella. I know that recently they started putting other stuff on pizza dough, but I don't call that pizza.
Oh God.
I don't call elephant ears pizza either.
It's because they're not. They're a sweet treat.
That's right. They're not.
Although I don't really like fruit pizzas or whatever, or dessert pizzas with like they put icing down and then they put fruit on
Because they're
top.
really not pizza.
I know, like that's like a
That's what we've been
tartlet
talking
or
about
something. I
all
don't
along.
know.
There's something else that calls themselves pizza, or somebody else calls pizza. It's still not pizza.
That's cool.
More, sir.
That's like martini. I know what a martini is. It's not an apple-tini. It's nothing with vodka in it. The vodka martini was made up in a James Bond novel. And it was named the Vespa later, but it's not a fucking martini. I will accept Ben Franklin's dirty martini, but that's a real martini, but you put a shot of Worcestershire sauce in it.
You did that one? That you done?
Well, now I'm just bad. Wow. Let's see if anyone knows that. That's a deep cut there. That's nearly 20 years old. None pizza, left beef. Why did you do that?
I didn't. Well, I did, but I didn't. That's not what my command was.
Oh,
That's just what happened. Now you understand why I did it, because I wasn't actually.
oh.
I wasn't actually doing that, but the two things that I hit to do the up, I must have hit them in succession instead of together or whatever, and
Wow.
it chose to do what it wanted to. I was quite surprised as well.
Boneless pizza is also pretty good. Because if you know, you know. You ever call the crust on a pizza bone?
A what?
A pizza bone. I don't know where I picked that up. Anyway, I picked up this. It might have been in Ohio from my wife's family. I suspect it is, but yeah, they call them pizza bones. And you give the bones to the dog. Adam called that. Adam also said, "I'm this old when I discovered the none pizza left beef meat." Told you that was a deep cut, man. That's what I was thinking about with, the two best pizzas. None pizza with left beef and boneless. If you go on YouTube and look up boneless pizza, you'll see what I'm talking about. You doing okay, Rich?
Yeah.
Okay. You just kind of disappeared. I just wanted to make sure.
Just looking up that because I didn't know what the fuck it was. And then it's basically says that somebody did an experiment when they first had ordering from Domino's online, and you could order 2 different sides, 2 different toppings and stuff.
Yeah. I have. I know some people hate Domino's pizza, but
I do. It's cardboard. Yeah.
I have enjoyed our local Domino's pizza as much as I like eating around here.
Hey, my wife likes it too, but they don't have any real pizza around here, really. That's like they have steak and cheese sandwiches, not to be confused with a fucking Philly cheesesteak. And if you don't know the difference between a steak and cheese and the Philly cheesesteak, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I've never like I've always thought Papa John's felt like like I'll eat Papa John's, don't get me wrong. And
there ain't any Papa John's left. They're all closed around here.
Oh, well, it started.
Didn't he have like a Jared type thing go on with him?
Oh, he said something, and I think what he said, he basically, if I remember correctly, it was something like he said the N-word, but it wasn't like he was calling anyone the N-word. I suppose I could look it up, but he was like saying, you shouldn't be saying the N-word, but he said the N-word. And then people decided he was terrible.
Oh yeah, right, because he said the N-word. Which is ironic because, anyone else but white guy can say the N-word. Pretty much anyone else but a white guy. You can be a Chinese guy, an Asian guy, you can be a Hispanic guy, a Spanish guy, which are not the same. Yep.
Just for the record, I'm
if you're a white guy, you can't say nickel.
Yeah. Okay. I looked it up. This is from The Guardian. Okay. So.
There's a reliable source.
Well, I don't want someone to be like, in a statement released by Kentucky-based Papa John's on Wednesday, Schnatter said the reports of inappropriate hurtful language made by him were true, regardless of the context. I apologize. He said that he was on a phone call, and when asked how he would distance himself from racist groups, Schnatter reportedly complained that KFC founder Colonel Sanders called blacks the N-word and never faced any public backlash. That's what he said. So, except for he said the word. Again, Colonel Sanders saying Colonel Sanders called blacks this. It's not quite the same thing as him saying you're but anyway.
Yeah, or fucking N-word.
Yeah, something like that.
That is not the same thing, no?
But yeah, I mean, the guy went to Ball State, and they were cheap at the time because you could get discounts as a Ball State student, and I still always felt like it was just I don't know, it just
I like their pizzas better than Domino's, but that's not saying much.
I always felt like that their sauce was too sweet. Yeah, I don't know.
You like ragu?
Over Prego? What are you talking about?
Do you like ragu?
Like the brand or like an actual ragu?
Yeah, the sauce, the brand. Hey,
Yeah?
I don't know why you're breaking it down. I'm not fond of it. To me, ragu tastes like it's watered down tomato paste. Prego is a little better. Nothing beats homemade.
Yeah, I would rather. Well, I mean, of those three, I would rather have homemade. And my second would be Prego, and then would be ragu.
Okay, well, my reasoning is, I know a lot of people that they like Domino's pizza, but those people, most of them, also like ragu, and they think ragu tastes like real spaghetti sauce.
That
To me, it does not. It tastes like it's cheap spaghetti sauce, and that's because it is a cheap spaghetti sauce. So. We don't really make homemade because I don't really eat much for pasta these days because I'm diabetic and pasta drives my blood sugar through the roof. So I avoid it, but everybody else does, and everybody else Amanda's raised a name, and they don't have. It's sad. So they don't have real Italian food. The closest they have is Olive Garden, which, if you know anything about real Italian food, it's closer than a lot of the takeouts, but it's not real. But the shame is that Amanda's half Italian. And, well, her father should know. You know what I mean? Her aunt on her father's side should know. I'm not Italian, but I was born in New Jersey.
close
And
enough.
I was, pretty much around Italians all the damn time. Like, for me, an authentic Italian restaurant is one that's got a whole shitload of soccer pictures and the parents and kids argue half in English and half in Italian, and some of it about the kids taking over someday. They make good food, but it's like, well. And don't get me wrong, I got nothing against Italians. It's the opposite way. Like, if you're making Italian food and you're Italian and you don't put olive oil in when you're cooking the noodles, what the fuck is the matter with you? Italians cook everything with olive oil. I think they pretty much cook cake with olive oil too. We got everything that's got olive oil in it. Because that was a major export for a long, long time.
I was watching some channel on YouTube, and this guy was making. Now he was using AI recipes. He was like, he just asked it, okay, give me a recipe, and it does, and then he just tries it, see what it does. All right. So this was a pizza pot pie. Okay. And the guy's cooking stuff. He's got a skillet with sausage in it, and another skillet with bacon in it. And he has the sausage, it's cooked through, and he takes the sausage out of the skillet. And he's like, I'm not getting rid of this oil though that's in this. This will be enough for my vegetables. And he dumps his vegetables into that, right? And they're going along, and then later on he goes, I had to add olive oil to it. It wasn't quite enough oil. Meanwhile, he has this skillet full of bacon grease, and I was like, oh, that's it. I know. If you have bacon grease right next to you, fresh, hot bacon grease, and you need to cook some onions and peppers, and you need a little bit more oil, and you can't just smooth that. You went for olive oil over the bacon grease?
Oh yeah.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
That's an offense to humanity.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, bacon
I
grease.
can't eat bacon anyway, but olives, yeah. Olive oil.
To be fair, all of that, like I would have started with the bacon, then cooked the sausage, and then probably had to drain some of that fat, but and then I would have cooked the vegetables, and it would have been all in one skillet. I would have had everything touched by the bacon that I could. I mean, if you're going to use bacon, might as well use it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on bacon. If you don't like bacon, I'm sorry for you.
Well, I can't eat bacon, so.
A friend of mine, a former coworker, I had his son in class, and his son had decided he's vegetarian, and I'm like, but what about bacon? And I was kind of giving him a hard time, and his father was walking by and heard, and stepped in. He's like, whoa, shut up. If he's not eating bacon, I have more bacon. Now be quiet. And I was like, you, sir, are a genius. So, like, one of my sons.
I'm going to start talking to your kids about the values of vegetarianism.
Well, hey, one of my kids has decided he doesn't really like bacon. And at first I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? But then I was like, wait. That means more bacon for me. I'm okay with this. Rich, can you not eat bacon because you don't like the taste or because of a dietary restriction due to health?
Heart. Can't eat bacon because of my heart.
Okay. I thought you
So
said heart for...
Yes, it's a dietary restriction.
Right.
Oh yeah, I would love to be able to eat bacon. And I'm not like, oh, bacon's nasty.
I was just clarifying because I think Adam was giving me the idea that you like
so
it.
I try my hardest not to focus on bacon because I can't eat it, so it doesn't do me any good to even think about it. Not something I like, but something I must. Yeah.
Adam said I can't eat arugula.
A what?
He can't eat arugula.
I don't even know what that is.
Lettuce.
Oh.
To be fair, I
90% water or 100% water with green.
was trying to explain to my son earlier. It's not that I don't like vegetables, but I don't like raw vegetables. I don't like. Aside from fruit, I want pretty much everything cooked. And lettuce. I mean, cooked lettuce is gross. Now, cabbage is good. But again, I generally prefer it to be cooked. I don't like raw cabbage. Just don't like the way it sounds in my mouth.
I like salad, so I also like cold tomatoes. Oh, I like them. We were poor when I was a kid. We had tomato and cheese sandwiches, so I've got fond memories of that. Especially when you have nothing else to eat.
My parents would eat them. I mean, my parents, we grew tomatoes, so we had a ton of them. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a garden. We had like 3 or 4.
We didn't have a garden.
Well, okay, but
If we had a garden, it would probably be in a window box.
so they had a garden, grew tomatoes, and that was the one food my mom, I think, truly gave up trying to get me to eat. She's like, I mean, there were other foods I ate because I was forced to. But raw tomato, God bless my mother, she gave up on that one because I really, really don't like that. But they ate them. I mean, and they would have tomato sandwiches. They would eat some of our tomatoes like an apple.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat them like an apple. I mean,
Oh,
it was like we would slice them pretty thin and then put cheese slices on them and mayo on the bread and just tomato and cheese sandwiches.
I've seen my parents both.
I'm just glad we didn't have to have sandwiches.
They sandwiches, yeah.
That's when you don't have any bread.
Yeah. But like cottage cheese stuffed in the tomato.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, they had I was exposed to these things, but I was just like, no. Now, see, grilled tomatoes, I can handle. I can handle cooked tomatoes. Oh, not.
I don't like stewed tomatoes. They gross me out. Texture is nasty.
I remember my mom put some stewed tomatoes in a meatloaf once, and I didn't know what they were, and she wouldn't tell me for a while. I'm like, "What? These are good." I don't like I thought they were like pepperonis almost. They were amazing. And then she told me what they were, and I'm like, "Whatever, they're good." So, just. Again, that's when I started realizing it's not that I hate tomatoes. I just don't like raw tomatoes.
Yeah, I like them fresh more than I do cooked. I don't mind them cooked into a paste or, obviously, marinara sauce or spaghetti sauce or whatever, but I don't like kind of sloppy globs of tomato. That's nothing about that is good for me. And I think you cook some of the taste out when you when you boil it like that.
Oh, God.
But I can't say that's 100% of the time. There are cases where I liked it. I like carbonara fairly well, and that's pretty much cooked tomatoes.
My parents once decided to try to make tomato paste, and they had. I mean, we had. Again, I mean, if anyone who's grown tomatoes knows, if you have just a few plants, will give you a lot normally, and we had a lot. And I remember we had this thing where every other day you had to do the dishes. So, one day would be my brother's day, and then the other day, next day would be mine. Whatever. So they decided to do this on one of my days to do dishes. And like literally I would wash every pot that we had, and then they would have used them all. And I had to do this several times. And I'm like, this is never going to end. This is just, which as an adult, it's like, I don't think my mindset was wrong. Like I should have just seen it as, yeah, we're making sauce and this is my station. But instead I was thinking this chore of mine is never going to be over and it's not fair. And it
Well,
maturity. Well,
doing dishes really never is over, so.
Yeah, I know. But
I guess that could be said too for doing laundry. It's never going to be done. It's just going to be, done for now.
yeah, for a year up until I was 16, I lived in the same house, and we had my father had bought 2 plots, and so most of the second plot was yard, and we started growing a pretty good sized garden. I mean, it had a lot of rows of corn, which I was okay with because I love corn, and it had 2 relatively large trestles for green beans, and then we would have green peppers and tomatoes and zucchini. And if you ever got green beans from us, that meant you were special. Because my mom, when green beans started coming in, we would eat them every single night for supper. She loved them. She would come home, she would, take the strings out and stuff, and as a kid, it's like, oh God, green beans again. But now I have fond memories of it. But as a kid, it's one of those things that's kind of weird. Didn't like it as a kid. Now I'm just like, oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, like I said, taste buds change. You're gonna actually, as you get older, you're gonna find even more.
Yeah.
My wife never liked sour cream. She loves taco night and all that shit, but never liked sour cream. And I'm like, how do you like tacos with no sour cream?
I was pretty old before I was introduced to the idea of tacos with sour cream. And we never went to Taco Bell. And tacos were a food for years. We only had it when my father wasn't home, which he would often leave Monday morning and not get back until Friday. So, there were a lot of meals that we had without him. But my mother thought that tacos were a kid food or a cheap food or something, and she thought my father deserved more. And I remember they got into this fight once, and he started complaining about it. Was like, why don't I ever get tacos? The boys get tacos. I never get tacos. Like, I enjoyed, and there was this complete miscommunication from both of them, and they were, it's just, it's kind of funny. But I mean, the tacos my mom made were always pretty much the same thing, and she wasn't a big fan of sour cream. Well, thanks, Adam. That's rather nice. Today I went into the school I'm moving to, and wanted to make sure my badge worked, and I also needed to get a key to my room. And the woman who met me there, because summer school was just ending, and I just walked in, and I didn't really know who she was, and I don't think she really knew who I was. But she's like, "Are you Mr. Boer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she was, "Oh, you had my daughter. She says you're good." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." Because you never know how somebody's kid's going to react. I've had students to this day, I don't know why, they hated my guts. And, I feel bad about that to some degree, although there's nothing I can do about it. So, it's one of those things. But when I hear, "Oh yeah, you had my daughter," or "You had my son," I always get a little nervous. So that was good things. And then Adam was just nice. It's such a nice day. I'm gonna sound like that guy on Family Guy. Such a nice day, guys. So happy. That was a terrible impersonation. Rich is thinking, that was just terrible. But
I wasn't thinking much about that at all. I'm coming to the end of this page, and that's what I'm thinking about. It's like, it's 11, and I'm like, how far can I get away with getting? And I do want to kind of straighten out these chords enough to know where the edges are. But for the most part, I'm going to clean them up or mess them up when I ink it. But because it's ruins, I'm not really worried about how clean the lines are, just the readability. It's one of those things I picked up from reading a lot of the comic books lately. What's okay to sacrifice for readability?
That Google Comics, or not Google, the
Global?
The
Global Comics?
Yeah, Global Comics. Yeah, you're right. I thought you said Grogu. I'm like, what? No. Anyway, yeah, the Global Comics. Here, it'll be a shill for a moment. You can get a year plan or monthly, or pay monthly. But for monthly, it was like $6.99, and
yeah, it's $70 a year.
I get that.
No, it's just a little cheaper. What I was going to say.
But
it's 2 months for free.
Like they have The Walking Dead. I mean, they don't have like Marvel or DC, but they've got a lot of. I mean, if you
they got Image,
you look at stuff. Yeah, like they've got
The Walking Dead in it.
Oh yeah, so like Invincible's in there.
Boom Studios, which is Berserker and a bunch
Yeah.
of other ones.
So I
Got
was,
Mad Cave Studios, obviously, because that's kind of why
Yeah.
we went on.
but I will be the first. I mean, I don't mind. I'll be a shill. I don't care. So far, I have found this to be a good value for me. So, plus there's a lot of stuff where
It was a great
some of the-
value for me.
oh yeah, it's another thing. Like I bought a month's thing, and it came with a code that I could give to Rich for a free week. So, even more value. But some of these comics came out. I started dating my wife in '94, so I probably really stopped reading comics around '94. Yeah, so didn't have the money for them anymore for some reason. I had better things to do with my time, and then go to college. I'm just
He already took his humor.
and then went to college and all that stuff, and then we had kids, and then I was super poor. So I mean, there's just a certain time where it was like it wasn't really. It was an expense I didn't feel like paying for, and so some of the stuff I know about tangentially because I've read about, like, seen stuff on YouTube or whatever, and that's cool. But some of the stuff I'm really getting to catch up on and dive into. Like The Walking Dead, I've never read. I knew it was a comic book, but I only knew it was a comic book after I started watching the show. So I'm just saying I dig it. So unless I find out something terrible about it, like they're ripping off
I
the
read all
artist,
the rest of the Nottinghams, and I read all the Berserkers, and I read. There's a comic called Barbarian that I started, and it had some interesting things in it, but then it went a direction that I wasn't interested in going. So, unfortunately. I think I started a whole bunch of them. I started one that's about a werewolf hunter, but he's a time traveler. And that one, held my interest for about 4 pages. And then I was like, not so much. I looked at another one that was based on King Arthur. So I was going to check that out. And then I saw that it's not King Arthur. It's called Once and Future. It's some chick with King Arthur's sword. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's enough of that. Only because, well, not only because, but mainly because I'm writing the King Arthur vein, so I don't want to be sidetracked from what I'm writing.
There's some YouTuber my son was telling me about who I guess was making videos about how it would be like 5 ways to do something, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. But then there would only be like 4, or or maybe it was like 7 easy steps, and there's only 6 or something like that. Like he would just purposely miscount, because then people would complain, and that drove the algorithm because there's interaction.
Yeah, I guess I'm happy with sticking with people that watch because they either are interested in hanging out with us or like the material. Even if they actually want to push their own stuff, right?
Hey, I
Right.
say if you're gonna push your stuff, as long as you know, isn't like some KKK fronted publication. You know, then yeah, why not?
What?
Well, I'm saying, as long as why should we care if someone wants to say, hey, come check this out? As long as they're not like, hey, my stuff's better than this crap. That I might be.
Well, there's probably some people that are like that too.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you take that shit to heart too much, you're never gonna do anything, right?
I
We
mean,
all have our days where we're like, am I doing this for anybody? Is there anybody out there enjoying this or anybody out there learning anything from it? Or am I actually helping anyone or just think I'm doing something? Is it mental masturbation? And
Adam said, I am, and yes, you are. I'm hoping
I mean, really, that's like you don't know. You don't know if people are. I mean, unless somebody says something and they're like Adam. Yeah, you earlier said that now I'm inspired to work on my own comic. That's great. That's what we're here for. Is to inspire you, help you, give you a place to mention what you're working on. If you're selling it or whatever. We're here to ask questions. We're here for you to learn what not to do sometimes. Like, I'm not super courageous. I'm not gonna. If I'm fucking up the whole time, I'm probably gonna stop. And that stream is gonna go dead for a while because I don't want to just make a stream of fucking up. Although I have one that I saved and I didn't eliminate just because of that. Because I wanted to show people that we have those days. We all have those days. This should be an outlet and a place to share and grow and, place for you to share what you're interested in and what you're working on. It's like the cheers of our little corner of the internet. It's like when you're in the David Finch fan server and you're commenting on helping someone. You know what? Times I've seen that you're helping someone, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool, he's got it. And then I just leave it. And then if I have something to add, I'll try to add to it and not in any way dissent from it, but say, oh, there's always this aspect to you and whatever, because I want to be fair and well-rounded, and everybody. We can reach as many people as we want instead of just reaching those people that get one thing. Sometimes you say something and I say something a slightly different way, but it's the same thing. And somebody gets it when I say it and don't when you do, or the other way around. I love that because we're artists helping other artists. And that's basically what this is too. It's the reason that I stayed around that server so long. There are a few of us mods, and I'm not mentioning any names, but there are a few of us mods that have talked about just quitting it because there's not really much for activity and nobody's much talking or needing any help, or they just need everything done for them. And we don't have time to do everything for everybody, but if it's completely dead and nobody's doing anything in the server, we don't want to end up being chained to that and hoping somebody comes in while we could be doing something else. Like, this, or I've got 4 or 5 different projects I'm writing on as well.
So I'm going to try to condense some of this. Something about Adam wanted to change his name color to something sparkly, but we can't see it, right? And Jay said that it's the best background chatter for drawing, in Jay's opinion. And then Digital Tantrum, Adam came back with, I like that for the most part, people appreciate it too. They said the one time I leave YouTube and there's a crowd.
What's that?
Adam said that the one time he leaves YouTube, because he's on Twitch,
Oh,
but there's a crowd.
I don't know. There's a crowd.
Yeah.
I regularly find after the show that there are people that have watched for a couple of minutes, and they probably just watched until we said something that pissed them off.
I always wonder if it's like,
I'm hoping it's not because it's like, oh, that guy doesn't do anything good.
now, I always think it's my children making sure that I'm not going to come down and see them doing something they're not supposed to do.
Well,
That's so
that could be 2 of them, but if there's 13 people that take a look on YouTube, unless they're creating separate accounts, we don't really know who's watching unless they're talking, so it's all guess.
More the merrier.
But hey, at least your children check up on you. My children don't even bother to look at this thing. Oh, I was doing something else. If anything else. Had to wash my hair. You haven't taken a bath in 6 months. When are you washing your hair now? Just jokes, just jokes.
Next time on Calls to the CPS.
Calls to the what?
CPS. Child Protective Services.
Oh. Well, they'd have to be children.
Well, just the whole 6-month thing made me off.
None of my children are actually children anymore. I can tell them to take a bath. I can tell them to take a shower.
That's about it.
That's right. There's no enforcing after a certain age. You're just screwed. This, I believe, is a 3H lead. So it's a hard lead, which makes it draw light, but makes it easier to ink over. Because as we've established, I'm a control freak when it comes to this shit. I have control over 3 things in my life, and I'm a control freak over them because that's the only thing I've got control over. Well, it doesn't appear that Joe's showing up. He's messaged me a couple of times, but he hasn't got home from work yet after 2 hours. Yeah. Now he's telling me 11:30 that he's not showing up.
Well, we shall miss him.
Well, it would have been nice. I actually tried 3 people. I invited 3 people to be on. I invited Jesse because I figured by now he would probably be enough established that he might want to sell some of his anthologies. Or, sell his website or whatever. I don't know if he's got his website up yet, to be honest, but I know that he's buying a serial story from me. He's looking for flash fiction because he wants to put that up on his site, so he's bought some flash fiction from me.
I have written one piece of flash fiction, which, so I mean, I've done it, man.
You've only written one?
I did it on accident, and then I was like, well, I don't really see any reason to expand on it, so I was like, all right, whatever. But
is that the only one that you've written?
Yeah. So I did sell it eventually.
I could probably knock them out one a day.
It's
not pretty close to.
I don't know, man.
It's spelling errors aside, but typos or whatever. I sold a lot of them. Actually, one of them I sold for the most I've ever sold anything for, as far as compensation goes.
Yeah.
That was flash fiction. Well, I would say slightly over flash fiction. It was like 1,200 words, and flash fiction is usually 1,000 words. But man, the money I got for that, it's incredible. But the problem was that you don't retain the rights to it. It's work for hire. So it's always a caveat, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm almost coming to the end of this. Well, the end of it for tonight anyway. I think what will be left will be small details, finishing that stuff off, and not even much of that because they're background.
Thank you, Adam. Adam said, "It looks great. I want to get my big fat head out of the way and take that off for a moment."
Well, in a minute I'm going to do a reveal.
Oh, well, I guess I was getting ready for that.
I just
You
wanted
were kind of covering the most important part of the whole picture.
Yeah, that's because I don't want to actually wipe the pencil off of it.
Right, I know.
And that's why I said I'm going to do a reveal too, because it's important to see how everything works. And I've still got a little bit to do here. I think this is going to fade into black and out of black as well. Or really dark gray anyway. I'm gonna play around with pushing the limits of contrast too. But notice, I like that look where you have a something that's just black and white silhouette, like especially if it's like white silhouette or red silhouette or something like that. I was looking at another comic instruction book from an English comic artist that shows you from basically from conception going through thumbnail, going through layouts and even where you might make adjustments during layouts, some of that, which was really interesting to me. But this guy, he draws his layouts rough and on a separate piece of paper, and then when he pencils from those layouts, he does a trace. He traces over the layouts on the light box. And then he traces over those pencils when it comes time to ink on a different piece of paper on the light box. Okay. So he doesn't really ink that. And the benefit to that is if you should do something you don't like, or maybe have a line that wiggles off or something like that in an unacceptable fashion, where you couldn't really erase it within what you've got for composition, you've still got those pencils to work with. But then he does colors too. He does colors with markers, Copic markers, and I think colored pencils as well. But it seems like every step of the way he's light boxing it and adding another layer. I don't know. Like I see David Williams does that quite a bit. Like he'll do a rough pencils, and then when he finishes the rough pencils, he'll light box it to get smooth lines. Yeah. But I've never seen it happen at every single stage of the process like that. So, our oldest son, he asked me the other day, he stopped over and he asked me, what do you want for your birthday? And like for the first time in, I want to say 27 years, he actually asked me what I wanted for my birthday or what I wanted for whatever present gifting day it was, instead of just kind of going with what he would want by the version of something I like. Like, he knew I liked the Punisher, so he got me a Punisher Pop X. And I'm like, want to play with dolls? Like, I mean, you say thank you because it's the thought that really counts. And I still have that Pop X. I didn't really sell it on eBay or anything. Yeah. But I don't play with toys, so it's like I don't even have a use for that as like a model to do something like this, because it's not proportionate with it, right?
Right.
So he asked me what I want, and I gave him a link to that book. That book's $30, so I'm like, okay, it's not a bad price range. And when you look it up, like most places that are selling it for $60 or more. So getting it for $30 or even there's a couple of places that are selling it for $20. I couldn't get my card to ring through on one of them, so that's why I don't have it on the way already. But it's like he asked, and I'm like, well, I'll tell you. So I told him, and then he goes, I just got a 7-day eviction notice. and I'm like, okay, don't bother then.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you after that. I'm like, what can I say? I'm thinking really, I'm going to do a color hold on this and a color hold on that, the old-fashioned way, which means that I'm not actually going to do a color hold. I'm just going to do the values that it would be if there was dim light on in the windows back here and in this doorway right back here.
Okay.
I think that's the layout for that big splash page is done.
Sweet.
You see it?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't side. It's get my paper down. That's no one trying to hide. This world's trying to hide. Even I don't think it's going to be a case where you can see everything, but it's out. It's pipes, conduits, a couple of them going off through the shadows because it's not a main thing, and there could be possibly word bubbles over it, along with who's the writer, who's the artist down the bottom, and the bottom, all gone. All the whole thing. You ate the whole thing.
Yeah, what's up?
You ate all those cookies by yourself. Yeah, you need to sick. You know that.
Shut. Yeah, all that tonight.
Well, so I'm saying that in a teasing manner, but he's been having issues like he was having when he went in the hospital.
Oh.
So and I'm trying to keep it lighthearted, but he really needs to gauge himself.
Yeah.
Because there's certain foods that he can't eat without ruining him.
Yeah.
And he's so used to being able to eat whatever he wants all the time that he doesn't really get that.
Right.
So well, that's that for this page. Until I ink it, and then there's going to be more details because of what's going to be on Mastiff's hands. I'm really thinking I want to do some just symbol values on the crowd back there. Be a little bit more detailed when I get to the cops because they're slightly closer, but these three should be the main focus.
Okay.
All right, well,
Yeah.
thanks, Adam, for the compliment. It's nice to know somebody likes what I'm doing. Or at the very least appreciates what I'm trying to do. I think that's pretty much it for the men. Like I said, the next part's just cleaning some stuff up, but because this is the Verizon line, it's not actually the street line, it's the Verizon line. I just kind of made it so that it would be kind of going over a hill a little bit.
Adam said good night then, but he won't be checking in on Saturday as he is going camping.
Yeah, I can't promise what's going on Saturday either. It is that season. I do have a birthday coming up, so I don't know if they're planning anything for it or what. But if so, Saturday will probably be just doing small cleanup stuff on this. Then figuring out how the hell to store it. I guess the answer would be taking the tape that's holding it together off and sliding it in the folder. I do have to tweak some of the earlier pages with the details in the guy's vest and some of the other small stuff, just to make sure they're all the same. But yeah, so thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, thanks for following. If you did, thanks for talking, Jay, Adam. Good night. God bless.
Good.
Much love.
Peace.